It won't be like any war in history. If there's a nuclear war among major powers, the power that initiates the war will be destroyed almost certainly, simply by the effects of nuclear winter,
Yeah.
even if there's no retaliatory strike. If there is a retaliatory strike, it's beyond discussion.
Kim Jong un has said in his New Year's speech that war is inevitable. That is not unsurprising coming from Kim Jong un, who is what one would describe slightly cynically as a classic tin pot dictator. I'm Hamish de Bretton Gordon, a former British Army officer, commander of the Royal Tank Regiment, and also commander of the UK and NATO chemical, biological, and nuclear defence forces. Kim Jong-un has made a number of pledges in his New Year's speech to ramp up his military capability. Firstly, he said he's going to put 3 new spy satellites in space to give him better intelligence and surveillance capabilities. He said he's going to ramp up development of nuclear material for his burgeoning nuclear weapon capability. He's also said he's going to develop attack drones. And finally, although he hasn't said it, it's widely known that he has a very large and very unpleasant chemical weapons program, which he could use as well. Kim Jong-un has been threatening nuclear attack for some time. Those of us who've been looking at it very closely, he may have an atomic bomb, which is very different from a hydrogen bomb or the sort of nuclear capabilities that the US and the UK have. He has missiles to put these nuclear weapons on. In total, he probably has about 30 nuclear devices, but at the moment doesn't have the ability to actually put them on a missile. And on the chemical weapons side, one has known for some time he has a vast quantity of what VX, which is a very deadly nerve agent, thought to have about 5,000 tons, which again is an incredibly large amount. He ordered the killing of a relation of his, Kim Jong Nam, in Kuala Lumpur a couple of years ago using the deadly nerve agent VX.
There's an American war hero buried underneath a busy New York City intersection right in front of the Flatiron Building. This is the obelisk dedicated to General William Worth, who fought in the Mexican-American War and conquered all the way down to Mexico City. Yep, he's buried right underneath here. There's 2 other obelisks in New York City, right by St. Paul's in downtown Manhattan, that's dedicated to Thomas Addis Emmet, an advocate for Irish independence and also a New York State Attorney General. And then there's another obelisk right behind the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Cleopatra's Needle, which was erected in 1881 and imported over from Egypt. Take out a map and there's something even more strange. You draw a straight line from the obelisk at St. Paul's all the way to Cleopatra's Needle, and right in the middle, perfectly, is this obelisk. What's up with that? Cleopatra's Needle was installed by Freemasons. Thomas Addis Emmet, a Freemason, and General Worth, a Freemason. And 1 block away is the Freemason headquarters. Is it coincidence? Who knows? Stay curious, my friends.
You said that if the Nuremberg principles were applied, every post-World War II president would be indictable.
That's probably true.
Can we run down them real fast? What did Eisenhower do that you would indict him for?
Eisenhower overthrew the conservative nationalist government of Iran with a military coup. He overthrew the first and last democratic government in Guatemala by military coup and invasion, leading to years of, in Iran it led to 25 years of brutal dictatorship, finally overthrown in '79. In Guatemala it led to massive atrocities, which are still continuing. That's after almost 50 years. In Indonesia, this wasn't known until recently, but he conducted the major clandestine terror operation of the post-war period up until Cuba and Nicaragua in an effort to break up Indonesia, strip off the outer islands where most of the resources are, and undermine the what was then considered as a threat of Indonesian democracy. Indonesia was too free and open. It was allowing a political party of the poor to participate. They were gaining a lot of ground, so that Eisenhower supported and helped instigate a military rebellion in the outer islands. This is just for starters. These are all indictable offenses.
What about Kennedy?
Kennedy was one of the worst. Kennedy, first of all, invaded South Vietnam. During the Eisenhower administration, they had blocked a political settlement in 1954 and instituted a kind of a Latin American style terror state, which had killed maybe 60 or 70,000 people by the end of the Eisenhower period, and had instigated a response, a reaction. Kennedy recognized that it couldn't be controlled internally, so he simply invaded. In 1962, about a third of the bombing missions that were carried out by the U.S. Air Force in U.S. planes with South Vietnamese insignia, but U.S. pilot. He authorized napalm. He began the use of chemical weapons to destroy food crops. They began programs which drove millions of people into what amounted to concentration camps. Now, that's aggression. In the case of Cuba, it was just a massive campaign of international terrorism, which almost led to the destruction of the world, led to the missile crisis.
Well, what's going on is the Bilderberg Conference, an annual gathering of some of the biggest movers and shakers in business and politics. About 140 participants this year, including the chief executive of Google, the chancellor of this country, and the former head of the CIA turned executive for the private equity firm KKR. They're here at this event. If you've never heard of the Bilderberg Conference, don't be worried. I've been in the news business for about 2 decades. I'd never heard of it. That's because the organizers don't really want you to know about it. It is very secret, a very guarded affair. We're about, I guess, I don't know, half a mile from the event itself. Just behind me, you see some of the people here and some of the protesters starting to gather. And what is called the Little Wall of Watford, because we're in the town of Watford by the local people, they've dubbed it that. And then over to my right there, you see the big wall of Watford that's behind a canal or moat for security purposes. Another wall to keep people away from the Grove Hotel where all these participants have gathered. What's different this year? Well, this year we know what's on the agenda. The first time ever that the Bilderberg Conference organizers have published that. They're going to be talking about jobs and how to create them. They're going to be talking about cybersecurity, and also another theme is big data and how it's helping governments to run their affairs. So a very interesting meeting now underway, with a little bit more transparent than it normally is. Fran?
There's a man behind you, Ryan, that looks like he's being attacked by a giant caterpillar, but that's neither here nor there. They've got a moat. I'm impressed with the fact that they've got a moat. Look, this is meant to be secret, but it's getting a lot of attention.
It is getting a lot of attention, and part of the reason it's getting a lot of attention is the protesters that are here and have been here for the last couple of days. They object to the secret nature of this. They object to what they see as its conspiratorial nature. And so they actually set up, funny enough, a dummy, a fake website, calling the press to come here and saying that there was going to be full access. After that, when we saw that website, we were contacted by the organizers themselves to say nothing of the sort. Actually, there won't be any access, but is part of them trying, the conference organizers trying to be more open. They have designated this area on the land of the hotel for protesters and the press to try and make things a little bit more transparent in the climate that we're in right now.
The Trilateral Commission is intended to be the vehicle for multinational consolidation of the commercial and banking interests by seizing control of the political governments of the United States. The Trilateral Commission represents a skillful, coordinated effort to seize control and consolidate the 4 centers of power: political, monetary, intellectual, and ecclesiastical. What the Trilateral Commission intends to create, a worldwide economic power superior to the political governments of the nation states involved. As managers and creators of the system, they will rule the future. U.S. Senator Barry Goldwater in his 1964 book with no apologies.